You ever have a quiet moment and wonder if the stuff you do matters? Wonder if all those little boring details that you keep track of, all the people you try to respond to, all those small things you do, you ever wonder if those matter? We're going to think about that today on Now What Devotions from Trinity Lutheran on the snowy day not too far from Cyrus. I was taking out the garbage this morning, snow blowing earlier in the week, doing all the things that you're supposed to do, and I'm getting ready for Christmas services, just like all of you are getting ready for Christmas and your various holiday plans, or maybe you don't have holiday plans and it's going to be very quiet. I don't know. But I wonder if in those quiet moments, maybe you've had a few of those. I hope so. I wonder if you wonder about, did it really matter that I put that extra dish away? Was it really important that I try to be patient in this call or in this conversation or all those things? And of course, this is something you've heard me talk about before, but I'm reminded of it today as we look at our text. We're in the book of Luke. We are at the Christmas story, Luke chapter 2. And there's lots of accounts of the birth of Jesus. Well, not lots. There's a few accounts of the birth of Jesus in the Gospels, but this is the one we usually hear at Christmas in Luke. And I would remind you, God had given Mary and Joseph a pretty huge, wild set of circumstances, right? Here they are. Joseph's had a dream with an angel. Mary met an angel. And so they've both had this wild experience. And yet they are riding a donkey to Bethlehem. She's real pregnant. They get there, and God hasn't provided a car, a train, a plane, an automobile, a horse, people with a cart, like nothing. God has not given them some special mode. Like they're just living their life. They get there. There's not even a place to stay. They get to go to the barn, and they have the baby just like God said was going to have. Well, of course, once you're pregnant, you're going to have a baby. But they have Jesus, and then there's no welcoming. Well, there is a welcoming party. It's some ranch hands from down the road. They had to be asking the question, at least somewhere in their mind. Really, God? Did any of this matter? You gave us this big, huge deal, and here we are at a barn having a baby by ourselves? Like, no help? Huh. And not to mention, a year later, they got to run to Egypt. So I'm just about done with all these preparations, and I've got a little vacation time coming up, and you get everything worked out for a church service. You get everything figured, and you tell all the people, all the volunteers, all the things, and then someone gets sick or something happens or somebody can't make it for a thing. And really, no matter how much you plan, it's probably going to go, it could go a variety of ways, right? And I often feel the same, I would say, as probably Mary and Joseph did, which is, I'm doing the thing you asked me to do, and yet it doesn't seem like I'm getting a response. It doesn't seem like there's any special fanfare, right? And that can be a hard feeling, I think, as people of faith, being asked to have self-restraint, being asked to treat others kindly who don't treat you kindly, being asked to forgive when there's no immediate incentive in this life to do so, can feel like you've been hoodwinked and you're just following rules for the sake of following rules, right? And that's not a great way to feel. So I think there's really two logic pieces here that faithful folks really need to keep in mind. Logic piece number one, if you have experienced something bigger than just your concrete experience of the world, if there's been something that surprised you, that came in from outside, that was more than you thought, that was holy or beautiful or wonderful, then you're acknowledging that there's something bigger. And if there's something bigger, you have all the reason you need to make action and to choose actions that would encourage you towards life that keeps going, to be with the people you love forever, right? That makes sense. But the second concrete thing I would say to you, and I struggle with the same thing, is the actions we do for the good of others, we cannot know the outcomes. And that's one of the hardest parts. You don't get any sort of feedback. You don't get, sometimes you get a little, and a lot of times you get negative feedback, right? But you don't get any sort of immediate response. And this is a human problem, right? We want feedback. We want to be rewarded for the things we do. And if there is a reward, okay, fine. But if you're doing things for a reward, there's already a problem, right? If the reward is you care for people and you want them to benefit, it's a natural incentive. So, I mean, there's these two mental pieces. What kind of rewards are we looking for? And the other one is, what do we think happens next? Does what we do in this life matter? And if those two things are both yes, it matters, and also the reward is taking care of other people, this becomes a lifestyle that's really sustainable. And I think that's something that Mary and Joseph both fall into, right? Mary says, okay, God, I'll do it. And she goes all the way, and her whole life takes a whole new direction. I can't imagine what it's like when your life takes a new direction, but hers was a life of sacrifice, right? And I think of Joseph as well. He's going to be parenting a child, but not his, right? So there's a lot of layers here, but this Christmas, I encourage you, those small things matter. How you treat each other really matters. I wonder, how might you consider those small things that really matter, especially when you feel like there's no reinforcement? Merry Christmas to you. We have Christmas services on Christmas Eve coming up. We'll be thinking about this idea of the small things. And we will have on Christmas Day, we're going to rebroadcast those services. And then the following Sunday, New Year's Day, that will be our Lessons and Carols service where you can sing all the favorites. Good time to bring family and sit down. I hope it's a great holiday for you. I hope you get to be with people you care. And I hope if you know of folks who could use company or want company, tell them to come on over or go find them where they're at. Bring a little cheer. I'm Pastor Chris from Trinity Cyrus, signing off for now.